Friends, welcome to the B side of the Moments of the Body poem that made it into this playlist. I didn't want to write a script for this one, and part of that might have been to save time and have this assignment ready to turn in, but also because this is my own work, and I think this is something I should be able to talk about without a script. And so if it turns out messy, I'll write a script, but I wanted to change to something a little bit more real. I wrote for Dr. Winrock's class when talking about bars that shorter notes are more ephemeral. If you give someone 5 seconds to write something down, that's probably going to be more honest than if you gave them 30 minutes because they don't have time to cultivate. And so I wanted to do this a little more freely. This is my favorite work I've written for the class, and I'm just going to trust myself to be able to present something on it about mourning. So, one of the questions in my MP1 was, can you mourn for things that didn't happen? And I think I've kind of answered this, at least for myself, in other moments throughout the playlist, like when Ross talks about Feet, how he didn't think Tina loved him, but she liked him, or Amy mourns for the moment of thinking she was going to draw a peacock, but she didn't. And so there's a lot of mourning for things that didn't happen. And this MP1 was mine. I remember Jane asked us to write about this, and I was trying to think of a moment of a body I had recently. And maybe it's just because I'm, perpetually touch starved, but I don't experience moments of the body a whole lot. And so I had this imaginative moment, and I was quite saddened by it, but also intrigued and invigorated, and so I kind of wrote it out. So this poem makes fun of my roommate a lot and calls him an idiot. And it must be said, I'm very, very fond of my roommate, so this was all in good fun. But the reason that I called him an idiot was because he puts this idea in my head that this girl is taller than me. And again, it's in several points on the playlist, but there's some, not violence is too strong in this case, but it's complicated when you don't want to mourn and someone gives it to you. I didn't want to do this mourning, but for this moment that didn't happen, but my roommate gave it to me. Specifically, he suggested to me that this girl was taller than me, and very much so that she could rest her chin on my head, if she hugs me, which she can't because I'm taller than her, by the way. Just got to get that in there. And one of the things I think about this poem as a form, again, is Ross talks about factory. And one of my thoughts on factory lately has been that factory is linear. Someone takes the tire, someone adds rubber to it, someone bolts it in, and so on, right? That's our idea of assembly line. But mourning is not linear. It can take us to some pretty unexpected places. At least it did for me when I was writing this. There's a moment in it where I talk about my relationship with my father, or a story about how I thought I was shorter than a celebrity once, and stuff like that. I wrote in class about how I didn't want her loving me and her worrying about me to be the same thing, but right now they are. And that's also something in this poem, the violence that I say am willing to inflict upon my body if she would ever ask. And maybe I did need a script for this. But I think I was reminded, when Ross talks about mourning for his father, he worries about his father's health, and there's so much worrying in mourning. When my grandmother was dying, there were moments of that same worry, and it's all kind of tied together, worrying and love and mourning. Mourning someone means you love them, or maybe it doesn't, I don't know. And worrying about someone comes from a place of love and of care that's very sincere. She worries about me more than she should have to. And I really have no idea where I'm going with this. But maybe that goes to my idea that we don't have anything smart to say about mourning. We would just like to think we do. I thought I'd have something smarter to say about this, but I don't. So yeah, the others are gonna be done with the script, I think. So this is the worst one of the playlist and the sloppiest. But here's a horseshit trick. Maybe that's what makes it the best because this is something you could not replicate. This incoherent rambling about my own work where I should have had something smarter to say.